This next tip that I have for you after doing inventory, after deciding to recycle and upcycle, another thing I found within my inventory was a book that I purchased at a sidewalk sale. When I say like a long time ago, has to be at least 10, 20 years ago. But I love napkin folding. Not only hosting dinner parties and small intimate group gatherings, I love putting the plan behind it, the investing, the time, the creativity, to just set up for whoever's coming to the house. Because by the time they leave, it's not only a memorable moment, but it's an atmosphere that's created especially for them. So I still go about doing invitations, doing the phone calls, doing the follow up, the RSVPs. So it's not just a Southern Girls thing. It's just something that I grew up learning. So if you go to maybe a book sale, or now you can find things online, pick up a book with ideas. So just to flip through this book a little bit, you can always alter the color or the type of folding that's done. But let me share a little secret with you. One thing I did when I was a receptionist was having to fold napkins. So, you're thinking like, how boring is that? Okay, fine, but you have the job, and that's one of the responsibilities of the job. So, needless to say, when I had to plan an event for a friend of mine, the Bird of Paradise was the name of the fold. I told the caterer, and also he wasn't, I forget his formal job title because it was so long ago, but I told him, he was like, what kind of napkin fold did you want? And the event happened to be a little bit stressful, and and I was like, well, just do Bird of Paradise. The look on his face was like, wow, this girl really knows what she's talking about. She's not just a facade doing hosting and planning without any idea. No, I get down and get the work done. So with that being said, by the time the event came, he told his staff, whatever I wanted, make sure that girl gets it. So you never know. Learning different napkin folds, learning different styles and technique, it puts a certain language in your vocabulary that other people who work, staff, it's called grunt work, but I love it, that puts a camaraderie between you as an event planner. So, tip being said and done, get a book, do your research, actually look through the book and find out different ways. I love this color. It's for spring, but you can change out the flowers, to be festive for the fall, festive for the winter, and not only the spring, but the summer is coming. So we love to do things outdoors. So that's this book. I'm not going to flip through the whole thing, but definitely there are up-to-date styles. And another tip I learned was when I learned how to sew, this was the first thing that I learned how to do, napkins. I had been giving a whole bunch of fabric. They were like, as long as you don't resell it, you can have as much as you want. As a former administrator, I said, you know what? I'm going to learn how to sew. So I sewed 15 sets of napkins and tablecloths that year for Christmas as gifts to some of my friends and family. So this book came in handy. Let's go to the next piece of advice. Another book I came with, last week I talked about going to the library and finding out, different things you may want to purchase, but you may not want to, pull the trigger and just buy anything and everything online. I'm a visual learner, and I need step-by-step instructions as far as how to get things done. So when I came across this book, when I first started stamping and doing cards and invitation cards, This is my number one go-to and recommendation if you're starting to learn how to stamp. It's called the Stamp Artist Project Book. Even though it has 85 different projects to make and decorate, let me try and flip through to the section. See, I even wrote my notes in there as I went along. It has, let me flip back. It talks about embossing, colored pencils and markers, masking, as well as using a brayer, layering, stamp positioning, stamp maintenance. You know, that alone should complete my list for the 25, but I'm going to keep going. So, and they talk about materials that you should use. You know, now that people are starting to plan, you know, in their planners, this information carries me over to a whole nother genre. So, see that? Let me take out the glare here. There. These are things that you can collect in the fall along with your travels. I have a whole bunch of seashells in vases you can't imagine. So these provide a lot of texture. You know, here are sponges, you know, technique. This is how the people get their stuff done. So this book I would highly recommend. If you want me to do a complete book review on it, I don't mind. I love physical books. So if you're a stamp lover like me, you know, maybe we can go through this book together. So definitely comment down below and let me know you would like to see more of this material. But this is my next tip for small business owners getting through the holidays. Okay, I had posted a picture of this bowl. I can't even get the whole thing in the shot, but hopefully you can see it. This, I found this beauty, and it's actually been sitting, let me tip it up, in a closet, well, in a case, but, you know, it, when I saw the color, another recommendation, let me just go ahead and go there, is pick a color. You know, when you're designing for whatever, a project, you're designing for a party, you're doing event planning. A lot of my inspiration comes from the types of colors where I've traveled, you know, through and to seeing different bookstores and different books and things. So this bowl is going to be sitting on my desk from now on because you see the beautiful color, you know, that it has. It's handmade. Even though I picked it up from Costco, you know, many years ago, you know, it's still of use. So when I was doing inventory, you know, I said I need to start putting to use a lot of the things that you purchase or I purchase. And not only to sell in the bookstore, but also to use as inspiration for other projects that I have going on. So this bowl is going on my desk, ladies and gentlemen, and what am I going to put in it? You just have to stay tuned to figure it out. What would you put in it? Because this is a lot of equipment. You know, and one thing I know is that it's changing every other day. I remember when I bought this BlackBerry cell phone to start using, you know, it was going to be my first computer as I was, you know, transitioning to a small business owner. And not only did, within the 2-year contract, it became, you know, old equipment or antiquated, but I couldn't even use it anymore because I couldn't afford, you know, the monthly billing. So what I did was I held on to the information that I put in it and decided, you know what, I'm going to try and repurpose this and use it for some other reason or some other, you know, like a memory keeper, you know, to keep files on hand, you know, as I take pictures. Is a great camera on here. So who knows, this may still be useful even though I don't have a phone program on it or willing to pay that much money anymore for a cell phone. I can definitely use it for other purposes. So that's one. Take inventory, but also think of different ways you can use your cell phone or camera for other reasons. So, okay. This camera I use all the time during my photo shoots. You know, it takes great pictures. But what happened was the lens was scratched. I dropped it, and for whatever reason, there was a scratch mark on the lens. And even though I tried to buff it out, there's still a few spots that I need to work out. So I'm going to try working on, buffering the lens. If you have any suggestions, I already looked on Pinterest and found a couple of ideas that I'm going to try and use, Otherwise, I'm going to have to repurpose this also. It contains a lot of memory, and I can also add in other, SD cards to store some of my work that I do for research. So, no, this is not going in the trash bin. It's just going to be repurposed and reused for other projects. And this camera is the one I actually purchased from another friend. She had purchased it and decided she wanted to resell it. So it was a good bargain at the time. You can buy other cameras, for more economical, but it has a viewfinder. It's still usable, but it needs batteries in order to work. So I'm going to use it in office. It also has an ability to take on SD cards, so I'm going to use it in my research and development. It was a great tool that I used to actually for pictures when I went to Cancun, Mexico. So, a lot of things that if they were good quality when you purchased them and they're still good quality now, don't just toss them away, or, put them all in a basket so that you and your team can have access to it also. Around in and around the office, you always have to reorganize and, reuse things. So, this is a great camera that I spent good money on it, so I'm going to keep using it for future projects. Okay, this is what I'm really excited about, because TOC Town is finally going to a paper and planner meetup for the month of December. So it's our first one in Chicago, or at least it's my first one in Chicago. So some of the cards that I did mention to you before on a previous post, not these specifically, but there were other cards. I had a ton of them that I'm going to be giving away, paying it forward to other planners and other people that love pen and paper therapy as much as I do. So I'm excited about, not only doing inventory, but also being able to put it in the hands of other people that enjoy these kind of things as much as I do. These are the 3x2 Project Life cards, so I have the 4x6 also. Last but not least, this is another money saving tip. Okay, after the holidays, places, I remember when Marshallfield used to have these, for, 75, 80% off, during the holidays. So after picking some up and having some, laying around, I said, you know what? I need to put these to use and give them as a giveaway. Even if you don't necessarily celebrate the holiday, because I don't celebrate all American holidays, but Christ is definitely one thing that we celebrate within our community. So what I'm going to do with these is use them as gift. They once held chocolate, but of course, we have some chocolate lovers in our community, so they're gone. But I can fill them up, with doodads like paper clips or, cow clips or, small planner things, and use them as a giveaway. I think if I look hard enough, I find more that I have laying around, so they can be put to good use. And they're so colorful and pretty. These are good decorations for around the office. When people come to visit you, make sure it's getting a shot. When people come to visit you, a lot of the times your decoration, brings back not only memories, but if they need to create new memories, it's sort of kind of like, I'm in a festive place, a place that celebrates, times with people face to face, because they got to come in the office in order to see it. So make sure to decorate the office this holiday. You'll be snapping pictures, you'll be exchanging Christmas cards, put this down. You'll be exchanging numbers as well as information. You know, there are different things that we're going to be talking about during the season, not only to save money, but creating a new memory is another way to benefit not only your staff, but, you know, the great ideas that you come up with. You want to create maybe a memory book and send it as a card to your potential clients or the ones that have been with you around and about. So that's it for my tips for this week. Stay tuned. We have 25 more tips for next week. So thank you so much for liking, commenting, and subscribing to TLC Town and also Team One Blogosphere. We look forward to 2016 because we have so much more in store. Take care. So, you know, decorate your office not only during,